gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with the M.
And T.
Listen, today, T.
What we talking about?
We talking about the ass whipping in Alabama.
I had to go there.
I'm going to go with the
I didn't even
fuck
get to
around and
reflect
find
on
out.
that. Oh, man. You just got the croc images flowing and, man.
I'm just going to say I ain't never seen a nigga get beat through his Crocs.
No, it's because they weren't in sport mode.
They weren't in sport mode. That was
the
issue.
internet did define that was the
It was
problem.
the sport mode protects you from getting your feet beat.
It does.
Oh,
It does. Yeah.
okay,
Crocs,
okay.
I think Crocs is going to stand by that as well.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. He wasn't wearing the Crocs properly. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going
Wow.
to say this for us. Why people just can't fucking say, if somebody comes to you and say, hey, can you move your car because I got to do something, there's a big bus, and you say, oh, okay, and get your car and move it. Why the fuck you got to take it to another level and you get your ass whipped? Why can't people just fucking do things and do it without fucking taking it to the next level and end up getting 3 pieces and a biscuit and a side order of
first
ass
of all,
whipping?
they got the whole store. Everybody came through. Why? I don't know why. Because that was sadness. That was just so much disorder. It's so much disrespect. And it's like, thank goodness everybody didn't just like turn a blind eye and walk away. Because that it could have went any which way.
No,
it could have went
my
any
man
which
threw
way.
the nigga symbol. He threw the hat up in the sky.
Is that what that symbolized?
He threw the hat up in the air, right?
Okay.
And everything was like, why is there a hat float?
I mean,
And when you saw the hat float in the air, you're like, what kind of shit is that? And then you hear all the commotion. Now you gotta pull up and figure out what's going on. And when they pulled up, they were like, oh, nigga getting fought by all these white people? Say less.
Okay, so we bringing the caps back because just in case shit hits the fan, you better throw it up in the air and your people better respond accordingly because they did in this situation.
They really did. When I saw a little young man, a little 16-year-old swimming across, he wasn't walking. He was swimming like crocodiles behind his ass.
And I don't promote violence, okay?
Listen, people,
I don't promote
do not promote violence.
But in this situation, I mean, violence is necessary, right? It is necessary, but I don't promote it. This was a necessary situation, and oh boy, I mean, I need him on my team. Like, those are the type of people you want on your team because he didn't even hesitate. Like, everybody sitting on the boat trying to figure out, what we're going to do when we get there. He said, no, I'm getting there. Yeah,
He's out fucking getting there.
Yeah, right now, because me swimming there is faster than y'all. No, he ain't had no time to wait.
Dude.
He said, that man is in need of help. I'm coming. And he came.
And they proceeded to whip ass. And my man with the chair, I'm calling him the chairman.
The
chairman of the board was, of the I guess not the board, but
the chairman of the dock.
The chairman of the dock. Thank you, producer.
The chairman of the
goddamn dock. He was hitting everybody like it was Stone Cold Steve Austin and WWE. I was like, God damn. He hitting The Rock, he hitting Triple H, he hitting everybody in that bitch with that chair. I said, God damn.
And again, he didn't want to have to do this. He didn't want to have to do these things, but it was necessary.
And he was ready. That's why
it was necessary. Because, I mean, at what point are you just going to just continue to be pushed over? It's the push over part for me. The fact that, first of all, they didn't just like assault this like any old random black guy who was walking down the little docks and say, hey, you can't do that. No, this guy was in his job. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing, trying to create and keep the order there. Mm-hmm. And then you went against that?
And start throwing hands?
No.
You saw the man had his little rent-a-cop outfit on and shit.
Because first of all, he didn't even get paid enough for that shit. That was number one.
You know he ain't.
That was number one. That's why I thought the hat went up in the air, because he was like, I got to fight, and I don't even get paid enough to do this. That's why I thought
exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But
he was like distress symbol.
Like, come on, dog.
The hell wrong with y'all? Because now I'm about to lose my job.
Yep.
Yeah, because now y'all got me moving my hands around. First of all, nobody has time for that. Stop fighting people when they're on the clock. Nobody. They didn't even want to come to work that day.
That's fucking true.
I mean, if it's not Popeyes, they didn't come to work to fight, right?
No.
Only Popeyes workers come to work to fight. That's it.
That is
we've
true.
already defined that.
No, that's a lie.
Who else?
Waffle House.
Okay,
Oh,
no,
goddamn.
true that.
Waffle
True
House
that.
niggas also gotta be ready.
They're ready. They staying
That
ready.
is so goddamn true.
But if you're not at the local Waffle House or your local Popeyes, these workers, no, they didn't get dressed. They didn't get out of bed. They didn't hit their little punch card to come to fight.
No, it's fucking ridiculous. And
Yeah.
again, if I have a disagreement, why the fuck I'm touching anybody?
Yeah.
You said move your boat. Why the fuck I gotta move my boat, man? You gotta move your boat because the big
Yeah.
boat coming in. All right, I may cuss his ass out and say something, but I'm gonna move the fucking boat.
Right.
Why am I attacking him for telling me what his job is? I don't want to hear. And then your other boys start coming in like, yeah, what the fuck on here? Told
Oh,
you
no,
to do
because
something?
you thought you was real big because you had your boys with you. Yeah.
Mhm.
He said, no, it's only one security guard. Like, forget that.
Fuck him. We can
Yeah.
beat his ass. And
Yeah.
then bring my wife into it. So she got there pointing this shit. Go ahead.
But I think
whip
that's
his
the worst
ass.
part about it is the fact that if you really look at it like on some real shit, they didn't know there was all them niggas sitting off in the wings waiting type shit, right?
Uh-huh.
So if we take that whole situation at face value, their whole goal was to fuck that man up that day.
Absolutely.
We're telling him
That one man.
to move the shit.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling us to move our ship, so our response is as a collective, us 8 men, all of us had the same thought. We're gonna go beat up this guy. Now, I'm not saying race has anything to do necessarily with the attack. It could have just been a white dude
Right.
who asked him to
Absolutely.
move it, and the same thing could have happened.
Absolutely.
But we're not talking about could have. We're talking about what actually occurred. What actually occurred was 8 white men thought, oh, this one black man was good enough to beat up real quick because he's trying to tell us what to do. What the fuck is this nigga telling us what to do? So they thought, we're going to stop out this nigga. And that, what I think is why, like, you see that 16-year-old is impressive, but I think it's also really sad that at 16, I would have thought the same idea of, like, damn, we need to do something. But, like, with the way our society is now, like, he knew he had to. Because in that moment, when he swam across, it was just that guy by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else had shown up yet.
The little skipper was skipping down.
Yeah, the guy was coming. The skipper was coming down. But that dude
He was on his
already
way.
outmatched. But he was like, "Fuck, I gotta go help my man's out."
Yep.
Yeah.
But the 16-year-old had already hit the water by that point.
Yeah, he was in.
He was
He
already
was
in the water.
in. He was halfway there by then.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because he saw the initial conflict and thought,
We're not
he's by
doing this.
himself.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And now you're sitting. That's the difference between us sitting there and being able to and say like, "Thank God some shit like that happened," versus, "Damn, another person got killed."
Yep.
by a pack of white
Absolutely.
people.
Because
Just
that could have been the alternative.
That was the
Absolutely.
alternative to that scenario. Because
Absolutely.
guess what? We're not sitting. That same thing happened at night with nobody outside. Then that man could have easily got killed. Easily.
Right.
Because it's 8 people who could have easily been drunk, thinking let's just fuck this guy up and keep it pushing. And I think that's really the biggest concern is that y'all thought that shit was gonna be like the play. And then you got found the fuck out when you saw all them niggas come down, because guess what? I guarantee every other person who came down there wasn't thinking, damn, that security guard got jumped. It was, I'm tired of these white people fucking us up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, all of a sudden it went from something very general. Yeah.
Because we've seen it enough. And again, for you motherfuckers out there that keep saying, oh, racism doesn't exist, you goofy motherfuckers, it exists all over. You may not want to see it, but it does. Do we want to talk about
Or
race
it might
all the time?
not
No,
occur
fuck
right
no.
in front of your face in your, households and your small little knit bit of comfort, right? And be grateful for that.
Absolutely.
But everybody doesn't get to just stay in their small little bit of comfort.
No. That man was doing his fucking job.
Yeah.
That man said, hey, big boat, little boat, you got to get out the way. That's what he's thinking about. And he's going to go back, sit on his chair, wherever the hell he was sitting at, and you move your little boat. But you want to take it to the next level. And then you took it to the next level. You just thought it's like all the other shit you see on TV, that all the end result's going to be this, and they're not going to get prosecuted. We've seen it multiple times in Georgia and in multiple places in this country. But those people say, you fucked around, now you're going to find out.
Yes, you did find
and when
out.
find out happened, it changed different. Now in the hands throw, well, what are we doing here? Let's talk about it. Fuck that.
What they needed to do have looked at their white counterpart who put up that very wonderful TikTok I've seen years ago that said there's a graph. And it was the X and Y. the more you fuck around,
the more you gonna find out. Absolutely.
It's exponential. It's exponential growth. And you keep fucking around, guess what? You keep finding out some more shit.
Yep.
And they fuck
and
around.
it don't work in your
They
favor.
found out.
Exactly.
Yep.
You fucking found
They
out.
found out that you got hands, right?
Yeah.
Like the I think the best part of the scenario is that for every black person that sits there and is like, man, I'm so happy that shit happened. There is a house nigga who's sitting at home saying, "Nah, man, we can't keep fighting white people. Like, why do black people get so excited by seeing black people fuck up white people?" Because I know history.
Yes,
Because I know
real
there was a
history.
time where that wasn't even an option.
No.
Where I just had to be black and get my ass fucked up and just hope for that I don't die today and that I can make it back home.
Absolutely.
To see my family, to say, hey, what happened to you? Don't worry about it. And then
Yes.
have to suck it up, go right the fuck back outside tomorrow and do the same thing.
Because it boils down to right and wrong too, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Yep.
the people were wrong in that situation. And then there was no one there to help correct that wrong. The police weren't present initially, right?
Nope.
And so, you were just going to watch the situation go down? And so, yeah, we're going to be excited because we just saw what we feel like was a little bit of equality happening. Like, not only did the black people jump in and help the situation, kind of even the odds as well, but the police showed up and they sided on the proper side, it seemed like, when they came to create the order there. So if someone has a problem with, a certain group being excited over that situation, yeah, it's for a proper reason. So what we say, fuck off?
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, like I said, fuck them.
Basically.
Because we see it on a constant basis. Like I said, it's not like it's, something that happened 100 years ago or 20 years ago. Shit happen like this every fucking week. You turn that shit on. Every week something come on IG or internet, but some fucked up guy
in
minds his
some
own
random
business.
little town
Random
that
fucking
you're
hit
not
town.
from,
Yep.
but it can happen in a town right next to you. Because
Absolutely.
next thing you know, it's in your backyard.
Backyard.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is. So
Absolutely.
no.
And when I heard it was Alabama, I was like, oh, fuck. You know you
Yep.
got to do something down there. Because, again, that shit could have went sideways real quick.
Yep.
And then we have another hashtag out there. Unnecessary hashtag.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, all the cheering and whatnot, those same people who say, oh, they got a problem with us cheering. Then what they going to say when those hashtags are created?
Absolutely.
They going to say it's that person's fault too? Like, which way? Like, come on.
At some point, we got to become responsible for our goddamn decisions.
We do.
And I'm tired of people hide behind bullshit, and you can conveniently use race or gender or whatever to justify your bullshit. But really, if you're Christian or any other religious person, you shouldn't be basing your shit based on who they are, is what they've done to you. If they didn't do anything to you, why are you fucking with them?
Yeah.
That's my whole thing.
I mean, it was hate. That was nothing but just hatred.
Prime example. Remember the young kid, I think he was doing Vogue. I think it was in this area, and he got stabbed. Some kid stabbed him because he was voguing. I think it was in D.C. Young kid. He was just, he got off the bus.
For some reason, it was trending lately, though, on the social media.
Yep.
Okay.
And the kid just stabbed him, calling him all kinds of homophobic names and everything, and stabbed him and killed the kid.
Mm-hmm.
The kid was just minding his own business outside. I think it was like a 7-Eleven or something. He was out there just voguing, and the kid walked up to him and stabbed him, killed him. Now, you don't kill this young man because he's expressing himself. What the hell him being gay had to do with your man or how you feel against him? You had to kill
What
him.
does the next man doing anything bother you for?
I mean, you out in the public touching somebody who's doing the what?
Vogue, like
But just anything.
Yeah, anything.
So you could be now you could just be walking down the street and get stabbed up for walking down the street wrong. Like
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
bothering people. You went out of your way to bother someone. In other words.
Yes, and killed this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And your goofy ass going, hopefully to try you as an adult. Fuck that kid shit, because you went out there and stabbed him.
How old was the kid? Do we know?
16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
The kid that stabbed him. So that's the case, you got to pay the price for that.
Yeah.
You can't go around and do some bullshit like that and think that, oh, you know what? He made me mad because he looked gay. Leave fucking people alone. If they're not fuck with you or fuck with your kids or you or your property or your house, leave them the fuck alone. Stop giving your goddamn opinion of their lives. You look at your goddamn life. Your life ain't too goddamn good either. So stop fucking around, going around telling people that you're a glass house throwing fucking stones. Nigga, you got a fucking glass all over you with holes all in this shit. Stop that shit. God, fucking imperfect people trying to make people perfect in an imperfect world.
I mean, that's how you justify your lifestyle, because you're not doing what they're doing. So it's like it's better.
Yeah, and why is it a threat to you? Why the fuck is somebody else's life or how they live their lives a threat to you?
Yeah, it's really not, but you ain't got nothing else to do. So you're like, why not? Let me bother this person. I mean, you killed somebody for voguing outside. You're supposed to get in your car and leave. Get what you needed and leave.
Yes.
So now you sitting behind bars, family stressed out because you didn't have no job, which means you had no money. So now who's paying for all your legal fees?
Exactly. And we see this on a consistent basis. And then you always will blame, oh, the kid is this kid. Let me say that. We always say that people who are mentally disabled are, they're not normal. Okay. But you never see a mentally disabled person go out there and fuck somebody up. Just walk out there and just start whipping people's asses.
Right.
They're supposed to be unstable. They're not supposed to be normal.
Right.
But you never see the quote unquote abnormal people like them.
But they comprehend, don't harm others. Yes.
They'll speak to you. Like I said, when you go to someplace and they're bagging your groceries or something, they'll speak to you. They're always pleasant. But yet they're the ones that's supposed to be disabled. Yep. Is that true? Or are we really disabled motherfuckers? Because again, I don't understand, and you can't justify your actions. If your life is not threatened, why are you even doing some fuck shit like that? Why?
Hatred again.
Hatred. Now, the hatred is really your self-hatred.
Yeah, it is. You're taking your personal problem out on other people.
Exactly. The fuck? What's wrong with you? And it, as a society, we got to do fucking better. Because this shit is it's getting worse and worse. And the kids are seeing this shit.
They are.
It's getting fucking worse. And then you wonder why the kids are doing fuck shit.
Right now, it's the 16 and 17-year-olds. It's like, what's going on with this group?
Think of what they've seen.
What's going on with this group? The 16 and 17-year-olds. This is the group we're supposed to be getting prepared for college and, that next step in life. And
But I'm the bad guy when I say that the parents nowadays are shit. But look at your fucking kids.
Okay.
Like, y'all niggas are trash. You don't raise your kids with any semblance of fucking care or wonder for anyone else in this world but themselves. You can be selfish and not be a dick. In a lot of instances, people don't realize that those things are separate. Like, you can care about yourself. You can want the best for you and not want negative for others.
Absolutely. Parenting. Parents. You can't just have these kids and then throw them out there like some seeds and then say, they'll fend for themselves and they'll be all right. And then when they grow up fucked up, you're like, oh, I don't know how that happened. Take ownership. Be responsible for your fucking actions. Because again...
Or you can't raise them without the intent to raise them a certain type of way.
Hello?
Like, you can't just, freestyle it.
No.
Like, this whole concept and idea of just, freestyle parenting. Like, you might not be a free-range parent, but you definitely freestyle parenting out here, like a lot of people are. That's why you see the children, they're allowed to have guns. They're allowed to have tattoos. You're allowed to listen to the same type of music all the time. You're allowed to come home after school and do nothing. You're allowed to, not be involved in the community. You're allowed to not, have to volunteer, and actually get out there. These things that, your parents are allowing, the kids to do. You didn't raise them in clubs. We talk about that all the time. Like, you have to raise your kids in something. They have to do something. Yeah.
Because it gives you some sense of purpose or a sense of understanding and reasoning. When you are raised and you do have things that you need to get done, meaning being on a sports team or whatever, You learn things like cohesion and competition very quickly.
And hurt.
And hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And loss.
Hurt and failure and disappointment. And so with those things comes the coping mechanisms that come with it. And it also comes like being knowledgeable. Like, I'm not trying to push hurt directly onto other people because I don't want that feeling pushed off back onto me.
Absolutely.
So it's just like, yeah, you got to take your kids out there and you have to raise them intentionally to be good people, intentionally to be built up, solid, and emotionally sound.
Nothing that's raised passively does well. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You gotta put anything in the world that you think of that has been successful, that has done anything worth a damn, has been nurtured.
Yep.
Your company doesn't just open up the doors one day and say, we want to make millions of dollars and then just make millions. Like, no, they come up with a business plan.
Absolutely.
They have a team. They have a vision and a goal.
Absolutely.
You can't raise your kids with no vision and no fucking goal. Okay, so you have a human, right? Human comes out of your body as a lady. Or a human comes out of your wife's body or your baby mama's body. How the fuck you want to word it?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have this little life. You might not know what you want to do with it instantly. But goddamn, y'all have at least the base thing of, you know what? I'm gonna at least make sure that my kid has confidence in themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's kind.
Like just one idea for your child.
First things first, happy.
Yes.
When you have a child, first thing you want to make sure is your kid feels loved and happy. Like
absolutely.
Something positive around the child.
Yes. Yes.
That's the most basic thing. And like when you start taking away love and happiness and stop surrounding your kid with that.
Yes.
Are you doing it with intention? Did you intentionally remove happiness out of the home?
See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of parents, first of all, that's something that nobody teaches you how to be a parent. Let's just start that off.
Yep.
But the basics should be, just like you take care of a dog. Remember I said before in one of the previous podcasts, some people take care of their fucking dogs better than they take care of their kids.
Yes, they do.
You need to have that same, when you see a cute little puppy face that, can't take care of itself. You take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
This cute little baby cannot take care of itself.
It cannot.
You have to feed it. You have to change it. You have to do all that stuff. You have to be mindful. You have to be in the moment. You have to also understand that it's not a part of turning off. Because this is a human that's sucking everything. It's a sponge. It doesn't know it's blowing everything. You put bullshit out there for that kid to see. Where do you think that kid's gonna suck up bullshit?
Yep.
I don't know why the baby crying. Motherfucker's a baby. He ain't gonna get up and go and fix his own fucking dinner and go back to sleep.
Yep.
So change your fucking attitude. That means you have to now say, okay, I can't be selfish. I do have a kid I have to take care of. I have to, and that goes for both parents, not just the mother.
Well, absolutely it goes for both parents because the children are seeing both sides of things. And whether the side is present or not present, they still feel the absence if you're not present. So you can pretend like, they just felt, one parent and was reflected and received, what that parent put out there. But they also receive, your absence. So either way you slice the pie, the children are going to see, feel whatever the parents put down. And you're not doing it with intention, then you have a problem as a parent. Like you cannot just freestyle free range your children. Like
No.
what?
No.
They're not just going to raise themselves.
No, that's the other. Kids do not raise themselves. You have to have some sort of vision. I can tell you when my son was born, I was leaving the hospital. I remember looking up in the sky at a full moon. I said, how the fuck at 29 years of age, I got the responsibility, me and my wife got the responsibility of raising this little human. And I remember just driving with a tear in my eyes saying, don't fuck this up.
Wow.
Do not.
The weights
fuck
are
this
different on the males and the females, I think. Yeah.
And it should be. Because so when I see boys that don't want to deal with their kids because the baby mother is this and she doesn't give a fuck. That's still your kid. That kid will grow up and that kid will have a certain view of you, either a good one or bad. And I don't want to hear, because I heard our excuses. Well, she's such a bitch. And every time I go over there, she won't let me see the kid, and I do all this. No, all I gotta do is go to court. Let the court system deal with that shit.
And I'm glad you said that because I was reading a Reddit post the other day, and I'm mad I can't read it verbatim because my phone's the thing recording this. But in essence, they were saying how when couples get together, right? Everybody has like a predetermined expectation of the other gender. Right? We've had that conversation before.
Yep.
So they were saying that this book that they read, there was a study done across a bunch of couples. And what they did is they had each the males and females give themselves points. So like if you felt like you were contributing positively to the household, you give yourself a point depending on what the thing is. So let's say you go to work, you're working overtime as a guy, you might give yourself a point. As a lady, you might sit there and say, "Oh, I took the kids to soccer practice today." Like you give yourself a point. Or I cleaned the house, I did dishes, or I also went to work today. Give yourself a point. And then the goal was once you give yourself points, then rate your partner. You can give them a point for, hey, they took the kids to school, she cleaned the house, whatever. So you give points for them, right? By the same token, you also take away points when you do things that might mess up, and you take away points from your partner when they do things that you find that mess up the group. And so they did the study, I think I want to say close to a year. And halfway through the study, half of the couples, they had them do like a half-year review, for lack of a better term, where they said, okay, here's your checklist of like the things you gave yourself points for, the things you gave your partner points for. And what they found is that for men, they would the points that men would give themselves vastly differentiated from the points that their wives would give. Men's point structure would be way higher than women's. So if a guy went to work and did overtime and, like got the cars fixed up and bought groceries, he gives himself points for all those things, right? But the wife might knock him from working overtime. Would knock him for, like, yeah, you went and did these dishes, but you weren't home to join us for family dinner. And so they were saying on average, the women's scoring based on what they gave themselves and what their husbands gave them were around, I think the differential was like 20 points.
Wow.
Whereas the differential between what men gave themselves and what women gave men was like 40 or 50 points.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of things that guys saw as benefits were all considered negatives to their wives.
Wow. I could see that.
So in that half year review, the couples got a chance to say, like, here's things I gave myself credit for. And then they would start to see like couples husbands were working overtime but weren't home. Yeah, they were working overtime and yeah, they had money for the house, but now the kids don't get a chance to see them, the wife doesn't get a chance to see them. So the wife would actually have them in like negative points, even though he would have himself as a positive outlook. So with those couples in particular, when they did that half year review, by the time they finished the whole study, those couples were stronger. They all of them reported having stronger relationships after the fact. Because what happened was they realized that the whole purpose of the study was to say that by communicating, you realize how vastly different people's morals and values are. And then you can find as a collective a working strategy, a parenting strategy, a couple strategy that makes you both happy. So yeah, you might have to work overtime, but you compensate as a guy compensating with your overtime by saying maybe instead of going to the gym the next day, you take the family out. And the wife would then balance out that scoring. Because, yeah, you might get knocked for being overtime, but then you went ahead and did something for the family. Because that was important to your wife. By the same token, the other half of the couples who did not do that, and they waited to the very end, I think they said something like 20 or 30% of them ended up in divorce.
I think that was a very powerful
way to show how the perception between couples is so, or can be so broadly different. And just by the communicating and identifying that, man, you're looking that away and I'm looking this away, and we can talk about that change can occur. But the fact that we go so long without identifying that, right? Because don't get me wrong, you do feel like, I'm out here in the trenches, working hard, back sweating, body aching, and she's talking about, you ain't home enough. No, because you're not home enough. Yeah, and then all that overtime then got taxed, and you talking about some you working hard. I mean, what are you doing? When do you come home? So it can be a major disconnect, right? Yeah. And just seeing that difference in how we perceive in each other. Wow, that's powerful. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah,
that's deep. But you put a very important thing about conversation, communication, because if you don't communicate, you'll never know.
Well, to me, the way that they broke that thing down, like we need to find that whole little scoring chart, because we can talk till we're black and blue in the face.
I'm glad you mentioned the scoring chart. It's because I thought the same thing, like what was a scoring chart? And it was specifically made so that you dictated your own scoring. Because they're like, well, how if you say, like, what's the basis of a 1? Like, what would a 1 be? Like, she kissed me on the cheek. Good morning.
So are you saying we're going to create it ourselves?
That's what they did. They had all the couples kind of create a rubric for their scoring. So, like, okay, if kissing me on the cheek is a 1, then, like, us having sex is like a 4.
Yeah.
Right? So then, if you withhold sex, now it's like a negative. You see what I mean? And the purpose of that is just to show how important that thing is to, at least in your own value system. So a thing that's 1 is going to be way less important than a thing that's a 4 or a 5. True. And you can make a rubric where you say 5 are these things. It's sex. It's date night. It's vacations. It's these big things. But like the ones on the little minutiae, and what you find is that you knock 5 points because she's not having sex with you every week, but you're not giving her credit for taking care of the kids. You're not giving her credit for cleaning the house. None of those things, because that's what you expected her to do.
We've gone a lifetime communicating with words. Now we see numbers. So now we can see it just a little bit different.
Yes.
I think that's amazing.
That's tight. That's and
I mean,
that's what's
you
needed.
can do that with children too. You can do that with children if you really think about it, right?
Yes.
Because how you feel like you're communicating and putting down your love and your care for your child, your child is not going to receive it the same way, and in different phases and stages of their lives, right?
That is very, very true. There's something that producer, my son, said a long time ago. He said a lot of people don't call their sons son. One time he was online, I said, "Hey, son, what's going on?" Somebody said, "What'd your dad call you?" Call me son. My dad never called me. He just called me by my first name. He always called me son.
Yep.
And it was like, because I purposely did that, because again, you could be, and I've seen people call somebody by their first name, but the relationship was always like that too. It's like they weren't close. It was just like father, son.
Yep.
Or father and my son, but they weren't close enough to be like that. And you see as he got older that the father at that point, like, oh, I wonder why you don't have a close relationship. Well, you won't, because to him, you was just my kid, but not really my kid. I had you, but I didn't want to give you that kind of.
You're a kid that I had versus my child, and those are always two different things. So the kid that you had is just like, that's how you end up with the baby mama, baby daddy's issues. Those are just kids you had.
You're detached children.
Yeah, exactly.
And why are you detached from your own kid?
Yeah, because you chose. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Some of these men did not choose to be detached from their children. I'm going to retract that statement. Carry on. I don't know why they're detached from their children. They all have different stories.
And this is why I say, once you can play these adult games and then like, oh, we're cute and you can do all that. We had sex. Oh, don't put on the condom. I don't like condoms.
Nobody has that conversation. That's
you know how many times I heard, don't put that condom. It breaks me out. But you really broke out when you had this kid.
Yeah.
You really broke out.
Wow.
But there's a whole lot of conversation. You be like, okay, but still thinking, like, fuck the feeling. What would happen if I have a baby by this goofy motherfucker?
Yeah, nobody thinks that far. It's just like a little Russian roulette, and a little prayer, a little hope. And
come on, 70
and 18 years later, and all the court proceedings later.
Yeah. And you're like, fuck. And now you mad. Boys, you become mad at the. I can't believe she got pregnant. Well, motherfucker.
No, they're never mad about you being pregnant. It's like, I can't believe she chose to keep the baby. Like,
what the fuck?
That's not the part that you're supposed to be mad at. It's like, because she knew it wasn't in a relationship. Why would she keep the baby? Like, huh?
So I'm going to tell you why. No, it's a logistical thing. Because it goes back to guy thinking and women thinking. We've had this conversation.
Okay. Here we go with the perception thing, right?
It's the guy thought of like, you and I know we're not in a relationship, right? So therefore you know that we really shouldn't be even remotely connected outside of the fun times that we're having. So then you decide to have, you got pregnant.
Right.
Then more than likely I told you.
Because I got pregnant.
Because you got pregnant.
I got pregnant. Yeah.
You see it.
I get it. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So now it's okay, but we're not together, right? And you're like,
yeah,
we're not together. But I want you to think. And now if we had a baby, we're connected.
We connected forever.
Locked up. Tick, click, clink. That's what it was happening.
Yep.
But because you try to make that connection and say like, well, you know you're unstable. I know we're unstable. So like we shouldn't have this kid. Where, like, it's not just a simple saying, I don't want to have no kid no more. I'm going to just, like, no, there's a whole process to have an abortion. And it's a whole wear and tear.
Yeah.
And niggas won't even size you the money. But ignore the fact that, okay, you slid her the money, but she still has to deal with the emotional and hormonal changes that come with being pregnant and then no longer being pregnant.
And I had been actually getting my hair and nails done, and now all of a sudden you got abortion money between my hair and my hair. What the hell? No, I'm about to have this baby, and we about to go chill.
Yes.
So you think that you're vocally like sitting there saying like, I'm showing you all the reasons why this is not going to work. And logically speaking, you're correct. As a guy, like, we're correct in the sense that this is probably not going to work if that's the mentality that we're already approaching it with before you even have the child.
Wow.
He's already showing you he's disconnected. The moment he'll give you money to have the abortion and you decide against it, or the moment that you say, hey, we're pregnant and now you can't find that nigga, he's telling you in that moment he ain't about to be shit.
Right.
So you have a choice to make. In a lot of cases, women make the choice to have the kid. That makes sense because this could be worse not having the child in a lot of senses than just having the baby. Problem is, now you want that nigga to be a part of it because you realize that having a child by yourself is very stressful.
Well, I don't want him to be a part of it. His kid is looking for a balance in that.
Because you want your kid to have balance.
Not me. The kid wants balance.
The kid doesn't want anything. The kid just wants to make noise.
The kid doesn't even realize what he wants. It's like,
because
man,
he was the parent.
I want a different set of arms to hold me. Hey, this lady seems stressed that night. Where's somebody else to pick me up at night? No, the babies know that the fathers aren't there. They want them. They're yearning for their dads. Y'all don't think so? He said they don't even realize they're not there.
They don't realize it.
They don't even realize what's going on.
At that point.
They're just existing. Babies are just there. The problem is, like, you're the adult. You should recognize that, like, what happens when kids don't, like, there's too many examples. You can look at your own best friends. You can look at your you can look at your parents. You can look at your parent, your aunt, your uncle, who are all by themselves. Like, there's a lot more people nowadays wanting to be by themselves than there are people who can actually be by themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, y'all can inspire to want to be by yourself, but y'all can't afford to live on your own. I think there was another good post I saw that was saying, back in the day, it was commonplace to find groups of adults who live together. Yeah. Like, when you look at old TV shows, like A Living Single or Friends, like, it's grown adults, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, 35, in homes with other people because we all can't live on our own. But we have good jobs. It's just that we can't afford to live on our own. But it wasn't considered a necessity. Like it was almost like
live on your own.
Right, to live on your own. Like you like it was almost like, oh yeah, you get some friends and y'all live together.
Right.
Y'all split the cost, so it makes it easier on everyone. When you move out, 9 times out of 10, you're moving out because you're with a couple. Like you were with another person. Right. And now you two go out. Because you're still not living by yourself. You're now living with a completely different other individual who should be your wife or who is your husband or something. That was always kind of the expectation back in the day. Whereas now it's almost like, oh, if you're not living by yourself, you're not doing it right. It's like, but nobody can live by themselves effectively nowadays without breaking the bank or having a really good job. Yep. Something had to sacrifice. You're either working all the time to enjoy a house that you're never home at. Yep. I pay for a place every month to lay my head down. Because that's the only time I can spend in there because I need to spend the rest of my time affording the place to lay my head down at. Yep. Instead of just spending rent with someone.
That's where we're at in America.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, you are now raising kids, bringing kids into the situation. You can't take care of yourself. Let's be honest. If you got a man and woman getting together and they're kicking it and all that stuff, they probably couldn't live separately. They've had to combine their income to live in a nice place. Because again, you can live in any place.
Right,
but if you want a nice place. Here's an example. Went to Puerto Rico. We were looking at houses in Puerto Rico. We were going to say, if you buy one or rent one, a house to buy in Puerto Rico would cost you about $500,000. To rent in Puerto Rico, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, $2,500.
Wow.
In Puerto Rico. And they're building up new shit there. And we walked by and the guy was like, yeah, it's going to be a combination of you can rent condos. And what's the rent for the condo? Oh, they're starting at $3,500 to $5,500 a month to rent a condo in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Starting in the next couple of years, it should be finished. In Puerto Rico, which is not New York, not California. So everything is going up. Everything's like, you wouldn't think, oh, God damn, that's a lot of money. But that's the way things are now. So as a person who's out there mingling in the dating world, the first thing on your mind is like, yeah, she's cute, she's fine, all that, but we don't want no kid. I can't afford to get shit. I can barely take her ass out right now to go get something to eat for dinner. But now we fuck around and we're going to kick it. We want to have sex because I'm putting that money out there. I got to get that honey pot. I got to get it. Now, I may not have my American Express on me at the night, but I'm going to assume that that we can't afford to have kids, so we was going to wing it that night.
Nah, I can't tell nothing. All I know is that I was in love. We had went out to eat, did the do. 9 months later, I'm like, oh, where he at? Yeah.
Yeah, and now we got a problem.
Because it's a weird concept that it seems like the man is that one thing that so many women is just not on the table, like abortion, right? It's just not even an option. So if you laying down with somebody who, you decide to play Russian roulette with, and that person, abortion is not an option for them, your whole conversation's just, it is. It's really mean. It is, because she's sitting there siding with her body and everything like, I don't know about your expenses. I don't know about your anything else. I just know about my body and it's mine.
And there's a problem, because now you're like, God damn it. I thought she was going to go ahead and do the right thing.
Because we just had 2 totally different conversations, right? Whereas yours was very logical. I mean, we could crunch numbers, we can do stats and everything. It was a very quantitative situation. Whereas from a woman's perspective, like, no, it's very qualitative.
And I'm glad you brought that point about abortions. You stupid motherfuckers out there keep thinking that abortion, the first thing women do is just go, I have a baby, I'm going to get an abortion. That's not the fucking truth. Got to clear it up, because everybody keeps thinking that happens all the fucking time.
And that's what it sounds like. That's what the men are mad at. Like, oh, you got pregnant and you going to keep the baby? Like,
logistically speaking, 9 times out of 10, the woman's going to keep the baby. Yes. Just because people fail to realize that, like, just with the conversation last week with transgender people, like, there's a whole... People seem to underestimate the power of social pressure. Like, niggas not really trying to deal with upending their infrastructure for something that they can avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell a woman, hey, like, you can go have an abortion. Like, yeah, but I'm a Christian woman. I was raised in a Christian household. My mother's going to be fucking insane. She's going to lose her shit. And I can't let nobody else know, because if somebody else finds out that I'm going to get kicked out the church, or I'm going to get, you know what I mean? Like, societal pressure alone will stop most people from doing things they want to do, or things that they think are the thing that they want to accomplish. And abortion is not, just like with transgenders, just like with gays, not that just makes, fuck it, why not? Like, that just, you're supposed to.
Yeah, it's right? Not the walk down the park thing.
It's very much taboo still. Like, even though logistically speaking, we've had these conversations, logistically speaking, these things should be non-conversation starters. It should be, okay, if this person wants to do that with their life, let them do that with their life. We started the conversation with that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, people are also going to want to protect themselves. And if you leave, guess what? You leave as the guy because you don't want the kid. I as the woman, have the abortion. Great. Guess what? You don't have to deal with any of the fallout.
Nope.
I do. So if you leave and now you're like, okay, cool, she not having that kid, we're done. I still now have to live with, like I said, the hormonal shifts. But now, let's say somebody knows, my family know, my other kids find out, somebody else, you know what I mean? Like, now it's, now I might be getting bounced out the church for this and all this other shit. And I still ain't got no motherfucking, I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
I don't have a relationship to show for it. I don't have a kid to show for it. I just have a fucked up body, fucked up emotions, and a fucked up regular everyday life now.
Yeah.
I gain nothing from this.
And on top of all of that, the one thing we haven't mentioned is to say something goes horribly wrong during that abortion process, and it could ruin your possibility of having future kids. Because, again, people fail to realize that it's not as simple as going and pulling a tooth. It's a little more complicated than that. So you hit the wrong thing or hit the wrong tube or whatever
it's
is in
still
there.
surgical procedures if it's surgically, right? Like, come on, keep it real. These are medical procedures, and, you know, it should be respected as such, and everybody is not going to run to go have medical procedures that you're volunteering for.
No.
And you cannot look at a woman and be like, this doesn't make sense that you don't want to go do this, which, like, it actually does make sense.
Because the baby is in her. I can't tell you how to control your body. And nobody should be able to nobody should tell you what to do with your body. I'm just saying that. So if you choose based on you.
Yeah, no, it is your choice, but
understand the repercussions behind that, because there's going to be some things that you're going to go through, because you're going to feel a lot of emotion. Now, the guy person go, whew, look that. Now, would the stupid motherfucker learn from that? Maybe, maybe not. But if a guy did go there, you say, you know what? I'm gonna ask that question. I'm not gonna get it because that's
she could have kept it and got in another situation. She didn't. I dodged a bullet, quote unquote. So then you go have that conversation. Or would it be smart enough to have that conversation with the next woman to get involved with, because they don't want to get caught in that situation? But that's a conversation you don't have. You don't say, well, you know what?
How you feel about abortion? You're not gonna bring that up because she's gonna be like, and why are you saying that to me?
It's like we don't have the proper conversations. We're okay to lay down and exchange bodies, but we don't want to exchange thoughts. Like,
but who suffers?
Eek.
Yes.
The children.
They're fucking
because
kids
now
suffer.
they're running around in households that, you know, aren't necessarily bonded together and aren't, you know, thriving for, you know, their success type of thing.
And we've seen stories. Remember the guy that bought McDonald's for his kid? Didn't bring any McDonald's for the 3 kids.
And you already know. We're going to drag that little kid. Yes.
She was like, you ain't bringing for nothing. They my motherfucking kids. I bought it from my son. She told him, no, take that shit back and you eat it, because I'm not bringing it unless you're bringing all the rest of them. He was like, what you think? That was wrong. She should have done that to me.
No,
first of all, motherfucker, you know you mess with a woman with multiple kids.
No, fuck them kids. No, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm not gonna let these niggas say that it's that man's fault.
No, it's not that man's fault, but I'm gonna tell you what would happen in real life, right? And it doesn't matter if that was all of our dads or just one dad. If dad singles one of us kids out and buys one of us something, give me that. We either going to take it collectively or one of us is going to take it. Sibling rivalry is real. we're going to grow up and we're going to be attacking the person who constantly got singled out. And we're going to eat your chicken nuggets. And we're going to laugh you out like you damn right. And I'm going to play with your toy. Yeah, that's why you can't do that.
I'm going to take my kid.
Yeah, take your damn kid up out of here.
But here's the thing. In that particular scenario, she wouldn't even go with that.
Well,
he was like, well, then look, if you don't want to have the food in front of the kids, I hear that. Then send my kid down here, and then he can eat with me. Nah, he's not eating it at all because you ain't bringing nothing for the rest of the kids.
Right.
I get where you're coming from because that's true. That's how people are.
Well, I mean,
if one person gets special treatment.
Yeah.
Over everyone else, that other person is automatically ostracized. We had a conversation on the podcast that isn't out yet, but it's going to come out, talking about leadership. We had a discussion about whether or not you have big team meetings or whether or not you have, like, if people mess up, you have individual conversations. I was a proponent to say, you do both. You have a big team meeting and then you have a little one. Everyone else was on the side of saying, look, no, you just deal with the people who you need to deal with individually. When you deal with people individually, my mentality has always been, when you pick people out, you do the same thing that you just mentioned of isolating and saying, hey, this person is different than the collective. You deal with the collective and then you deal with the individual separate. You let everybody know this is not cool because guess what? For every good person who works well and for every person who works like a piece of shit, there's the people who are sitting on the line. People who could do good work if they feel like they are incentivized enough, but will just as easily go and do the shit that the other people who aren't doing anything are. Because like, hey man, we all get paid the same check.
Right.
I can just do what they're doing. So you had that big meeting, you say, hey, the niggas in the middle, y'all can go either way. I'm letting you know I'm watching these guys too. So now you have a choice. You can join them when I go to round everyone up later, or you can stay and recognize that like, oh, I can't even begin to slide because if I try to slide, now I know they're watching us.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, that is like the reason why you don't isolate those kids. So that's why when she said like, I'm not taking this upstairs, that makes sense. Because you will end up getting your kid fucked up when they get upstairs with the chicken nuggets and the rest of kids are like, dog, you get McDonald's and other kids don't. Right, fuck them kids. They don't deserve it. Because they fathers ain't showing, that's not my fault. I'm taking care of my child. Great. Now you have to take your child. Now she made it difficult for him to take his kid, which is where I feel like she fucked up. Like
no, she didn't fuck up there neither. Because you can't just come inside of a household full of children that I'm trying to create and maintain order in and create like little wild card situations that break up like your time with the child has been defined as weekends. Come here. You want to do special lunches during the weekend so that the children know and get used to something that is stable and normal. Because I'm going to hope that if one kid, which we know is not true, but we're going to hope that at least if one kid is going to dad's house on the weekend, at least half of them possibly should be going. So we know that only on the weekends, you know, we have this like dad wild card. But like the pop up and get special treatment, nah, that will become an issue amongst a group of siblings that's growing up within the same household. It's a total different dynamic when you have siblings that grow up in the same household versus like, you know, your weekend sibling or, you know, your step person who you see, you know, during the summer times and stuff like that. But like my regular sibling, your dad somebody just came and picked you up and y'all had a special luncheon. Well, I'm gonna punch you right in your damn throat. That's just what I would recall happening, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I think that's so sad for like the kid that is blessed enough to have a nigga who ain't shit. Is that you then get treated like the ain't shit kids. I mean, I'm calling
for lack of better words.
I mean, call spade a spade. Like because those kids' parents aren't shit.
Yeah,
my dad can't be in my life.
Well, and that's basically, you know, that's the stability that in my opinion would have to be created because, you know, as a mom, let's say you got 4 kids, I can't just live, you know, to make sure one child is super comfortable and taken care of. I have to make sure that all of these kids inside this household feel equal. I have to make sure they all feel comfortable. I have to make sure they all feel taken care of. And that's my job. And I know that you want to be the best dad out here, but we're not together. So you're not like the head of this household. So you can't kind of just come in and, you know, leave out as you please, because that's just not something that, me and you got into. So therefore,
by the same token, I agree with that. I will also say though that then that's what you signed up for. And
absolutely.
You are actively sabotaging the rest of your children because you made bad decisions.
I don't think it's sabotaging. I think it's like you're shielding a little bit because you made bad choices. Yeah, the children always are going to have to sit in parents' choices, whether they be the good choices, whether they be the bad choices, right? Your parents were successful in life. You sit in a comfortable home because of it. You get to ride in certain cars because of it. You get the vacation in certain areas because of it. Your parents, got unstable finances, didn't really come from much, didn't really complete, things that they set out for, you're going to have the consequences of the choices that they took. And it's not right, but it is what it is.
That is true. It's very fucking true. And again, that goes back to when you're dealing with a woman with kids, and you're a man that wants to get involved with her, you as a man should say, okay, if I get involved with her, she already has 2 kids, 3 kids. Do I have that conversation with her about I don't want any more kids, or I don't think I should have kids with you, but you're still trying to get the honey pot? Yeah. So
that honey pot be making y'all do crazy things, baby. Get y'all in all types of little situations.
It's because it's human nature, right? Yeah. It's like we just hold ourselves for doing something. Yeah. How you hold yourself, because, like I said, at the end of the day, like my biggest realization as I've been a guy growing up is how many men have no relationship with their fathers, have no relationships with their uncles, have no relationship with a grandfather, who have no stable men in their life. So when I see a guy who is our age, or I guess is my age rather, who's trying to do it right, who's trying to say like, look, I'm like, we might have made bad decisions, but I can at least show my son love whenever I can show my son love. And like, I see somebody actively getting, for lack of better terms, beat up and cussed out for doing the right thing, then it's like, I get why a lot of niggas do the wrong thing. Because it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. If I'm not there, then I ain't gotta sit here and feel that level of rage that I know man's felt when he saw, like, man, I got something special for my little man. Like, we about to kick it. And now I got this woman mad at me because you made bad decisions and you can't take care of your kids. So now my kid has to suffer. Because again, mine.
You were going back to the same situation. That man's judgment was poor, though.
Oh, yeah, his judgment is
and then
poor,
it's like he looked like he had a series of poor judgment. First of all, look at the woman that he chose.
That was wild.
Like, hold on. Then to make a series of bad choices.
But here's what I'm saying, though. But here's what I'm saying is that when you see guys trying to do it right and it doesn't work out, right? And like, I can see how it doesn't get better.
But you can't do it wrong and pretend like you're doing it right and then be like, it's frustrated.
But you can recorrect the ship, can't you? We always say like, no one's ever beholden to the bad mistakes they made. Okay. Because you can always do something different. Yeah. Right? I'm just saying that like we should be trying to do things differently. Right. Okay, so instead
of her cursing old boy out, she should have simply politely said, hold on, not today, we can't really do this.
But it's just like, how do you handle a scenario?
Yeah, like, she handled it very poorly.
Because for me, like, I can understand her frustration. Like, I would love to get all my kids McDonald's, and I can't do it.
Yeah, I would have took it and ate it while explaining to him why he brought a kid. That was just me, though.
Shit, but like, it makes sense why you do it.
Because if the kid's hungry, I'm hungry too. I got to go in there and cook on an empty stomach. This McDonald's right here. Yeah, no, and don't do this no more. Because the kids can't have it.
Because kids can't.
No.
And then, like I said, I see so many guys who like who don't have those relationships, and I'm like, it is crucial that when guys are putting that effort in, that it needs to be rewarded in some way, shape, or form. Whether that is saying, okay, you isolate your child, you whatever. Like I said, I think guys need to put more effort in. But when the guys who do put in effort they need to get them flowers. because we as men don't get our flowers for shit.
No.
We have to steal them Jones. I can't tell you how many times I have to sit down and say like, nah, I deserve my flowers. Because fuck you guys. Fuck everyone else. Fuck if anyone else doesn't give it to me, I'm gonna give it to myself.
Yeah.
But how many times do I have to keep saying I'm gonna give myself my own flowers? Like I can't get somebody who says like, man, you've been busting your ass at good shit. Like we recognize that what we do as men isn't quote unquote special. It's just what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
But damn, can I get some credit for doing what I'm supposed to do too?
Yeah.
Like imagine if you, like just as ladies sit there and say, I had a kid, I went through like I had to go through all the appointments and I was sick and then I was doing well and I was sick again and all that to have this baby. And if I told you, well, yeah, fuck, you thought childbirth was easy? How much different is that conversation?
Yeah, no, we
then
ain't
if I
even
said, like,
talking
I had to
no
work
more.
overtime, I had to work late nights, I had to do all these things to keep a roof over our head. Yeah, nigga, because bills are bills.
Got to be paid.
They're not gonna sit there and give a fuck how you got the money, just as long as you got the money to keep the bills over you, the lights on. They just care that they got their 300 and some change for the lights.
The baby mother.
What I'm saying, just as a guy, like if you're like,
No,
oh, I gotta keep the lights on.
As a guy, technically speaking, if you are in a healthy relationship, right, you should feel honored that you are pouring into. Absolutely, both parties should. Yeah. So I mean, damn, y'all don't feel like y'all get y'all flowers enough. Wow, you gonna sit here and feel like that too?
Let me tell you, I do. I do say this, y'all. I do. I've been married, so I get my flowers every day. I get the love from the family, wife, and the son. I get the love all the time. So personally, I get it, and I'm pretty sure your husband get the love and appreciation every day too.
I know you was throwing my girl under the bus.
No. But in general,
nodding and agreeing.
The reason why we can say that is because we do get it.
Yeah.
Right?
But
we can talk about it. We can talk about recognizing that men don't get it because we do.
But do y'all know the men who feel like they don't?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dang,
all my best friends are
And are they deserving?
So I got one of my friends since 15. He's been working. At this point, right now, Mans lives in Baltimore, has a three floor home, 3-tiered home, 4 bedrooms. Did all his shit. His father has not said "I love you" in 10 years to him, and I remember him specifically saying it to me like 3 weeks ago. Because I was like, "All right, Dad, love you. Talk to you later." And he's like, "Oh, you say love you to your dad? Like my dad hasn't said love me forever." And he said it, and he went right into like the next conversation. But yo really felt that, like you could hear it, and it's like just those little things where you realize, like even as somebody who has what most men would consider like W, like you got a W after W after W. You live in a good spot. You're not like you're in Baltimore, but you're on the outskirts of Baltimore. You're in a really good neighborhood. You got a good house. You're able to afford everything. You ain't got to worry about your bills. You got anything you could possibly want, but just wants like acknowledgement that somebody cares. Yeah. He got a girl who he's been with for the last like 10 months, and for lack of better terms, she's a project. A project in the I was not saying something. Project in the sense that she has a lot of things in her life going on. Okay. She's a work in progress. She's trying to get where she wants to go.
I'm gonna just say okay.
And he's like, I'm trying to help support that. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you. But like, is she trying to like stand up, or are you trying to pick up a corpse? Like, what is like? How is that relationship really? Yeah. But I can't get a straight answer, and I'm like, with the combo of the sentence, oh, my dad, never told me I love me, and now I got this. I'm like, well, that's how women end up in a scenario where you end up with an ain't shit nigga who runs your pockets and gives you a kid and disappears. Like, it's a very slippery slope because you're just trying to find love. You just want somebody to love you and appreciate you for what you do. And the fact that
this guy doesn't have children?
No, he doesn't have any kids.
Okay.
No. Because he's smart enough to recognize I'm stable enough for me, I'm not stable enough for a family. Okay. And I respect that. But it's just little things like that where you see a guy who would reach what most men would consider the apex and is still not happy. Yeah. And you realize it's the little things like the appreciation of what you're doing, or like recognizing what you're doing is difficult and giving you your flowers for saying like, look, You do a hard job, bro. You've been busting your ass. You got things that niggas could always wish they could have, and you're not happy because you need somebody to tell you, like, dog, you're doing some good shit. So when I told him, I was like, bro, if they don't tell you, I'm gonna tell you, I love you. I appreciate what you do. I understand how hard you work, because sometimes a guy just needs to hear that. And like, for him, was like, man, I really do appreciate that. He's like, I love you too. I was like, when was the last time he probably even said that? I say it every day. I'm fortunate enough to say it every day.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad for guys nowadays.
It sounds like a lot of emptiness,
Yeah.
It does, yeah. No, but when I say that the men sound empty, I get corrected. I just want to let y'all know that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a little jabby jab. Yeah. they're watching. That was a little jab.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. There's a lot of men who grow up empty.
And that's what you kind of see. Like, you can really see that. Like, what? You think that this is normal? Your behavior? Like, you think this is normal? Yeah.
See, you'd be surprised how many men, and probably women, who, when they find someone after get of age, because they lack self-awareness, self-love, self-accountability, because nobody never give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those people really want to have it, because they really now want to love something that can love them back unconditionally.
Yep.
You could get a dog, but
it's not the same.
No. But I'll some guys will just have a baby with some chick, any chick. He's having to give him the draws, the honey pot, boom, and you have a baby. He's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Because to him, I do not want my child to go through what I went through, and continue to go through, because it's a continued process unless he really deals with it. So I'm gonna push the love that I expected this baby. Now he may have to take some fuck shit from her, because she may not feel the same way about him, and just say, give him the money, because you never know how that evolves.
Okay.
But he'll be in there for the long haul, and she could probably move on and have other kids. He'll still be there. This is his kid. He don't want his kid to go through some bullshit. But people don't realize that, or women don't see it, because it's just like, man, you should suck it up and go through it. But if you never had anyone teach you how to be a man, or teach you the process of becoming a man, then how do you become a man? You just become a you be a man boy or boy man. And you just grow up. Yeah, you're of age. You're 30. You're 40.
A grown male.
And you find yourself, why the fuck he don't grow up? Why the hell? You hear that a lot from women. Why he don't grow up? Why don't he take shit seriously? Why he ain't? Because again, he's trying to find some peace. Whatever that is, like, can I just find my way of becoming?
Or he found a way to fucking function.
Yes,
that's really sometimes what it be. Like, they found a way that allows them to function without having.
Yep.
I can function. So, like, I think we had a conversation on that same podcast with leadership, saying, like, when you're not appreciated as a man, you show it. Like, it comes out in every facet of you, because it's how you deal with that lack of love or that lack of appreciation. You find it by just saying, all right, well, I'm going to be crass. I'm going to be short. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get through this. But, like, if I'm at work and they don't appreciate me and I know I need to keep this job, I'm going to keep my job, but I'm not going to say shit. You're not going to find me nowhere. You're not going to be able to get a hold of me for nothing.
Yeah.
If I answer, it's short to the point. I might not even smile. Niggas might not even see me with so much as a grin on my face. I ain't gonna talk to nobody. I'm gonna go to work and do my shit, come home. Because I'm not trying to be there.
Right.
And the whole time I know I need to be here. So I need to hate myself for being here, but I also need to recognize that I need to get over myself long enough to get through this day, because I need this paycheck. Until you find something different. And then that's when you find the guys who end up having something where, like, their infrastructure is set up. Like, they have a really good job, or they have a really good support system. What you find is that then they become, as people, more fleshed out, because, like, okay, I'm secure in like the thing that matters. Now I can start saying, like, let me evolve as an individual. And if you notice, a lot of women will say, like, oh, I knew this guy, he was trashed. Then he blew up. And it's like, oh, well, why couldn't you do that with me? Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's because he's with you. He thought, like, oh, I'm good because you accepted him for this person.
Yeah.
When you told him that this person is no longer acceptable, he said, shit, I really fucked that up. All right, I can't let that happen again. Yep. So the guy inherently gets better.
The corrective action.
The corrective action happens a lot quicker. because they're like, damn, she left me. I really got to figure it out because now I lost the thing that kept me secured. I need to go fix myself. Mm-hmm. And that's why when those guys fix themselves, the next girl comes in like right after that, and she's the one who reaps all the benefits. Is because of that.
Yeah.
He fell apart with you, and then you told him this is no longer acceptable. And he's like, damn, I lost her, so I got to make sure I don't lose the next person. And then he finds someone else, and now you're the old person. Like, damn, why couldn't you do that before? Sometimes it's you.
I mean, sometimes it's just not that person's time, right? You're just part of the journey, you know.
Because think about it. How many people will get married at 19 years of age and stay together for a long period of time?
I mean, I don't know any.
There's a maturity that has to happen at that age. That a lot of people just.
I don't think it has to happen at that age specifically. I think that you have to have some bit of maturity as you're growing up in the marriage. Because to be married at those young ages, you're literally growing up, but in a marriage. And for an American person, male or female, I don't quite think that people can understand what that is. I mean, you're not even 21 yet. So technically, you ain't even able to tear the club up.
Nope.
You ain't even able to pop no bottles yet,
Nope,
but you're already married. Men can't approach you. You can't approach women in the nightclub. You can't have those, loose, silly conversations, those flirtatious, ways that you mix and mingle in your early 20s that have been, normalized as being just like what you do in those ages. So, yeah, you're literally growing up. Together, and that maturity just has to kind of snowball. And if it doesn't snowball, then I mean, you probably gonna be done by the time you're 23, 24.
And what you just said was you have people who at 19 they don't have a clue about life, they don't have a clue anything, but they're making life decisions that's going to affect them well into their 30s and 40s and 50s for the rest of their life. So, as we start off with the whole, whip ass and fuck around, fuck up and fuck around, find out. This is a thing about growing. Before you decide to have kids, I'm talking to people. Before you decide to get into the relationships, having kids, understand this fact. If you're empty when you have a kid, what will you feel into that kid? You're going through a lot of things. You're thinking that kids will solve your problem. A lot of people say, I have a kid. I can pass on, show them things. What you going to show them? Because when you're empty and have nothing to fill, then you just bring in another empty vessel and hoping to God that somebody else can fill. Because you can't.
Well, somebody is going to fill them, and it's going to be with foolishness. It can be with hatred. It can be with nonsense. And like you said, what we started off on is pretty much you seeing people who were raised up on, hatred and normalizing, foolishness, right?
Yes.
So again, be intentional with how you raise your children, because they're not going to be children forever.
No, they're not going to be. And understand, when you fuck your kids' upbringing, we all suffer that dumb shit because you fucked it up. Not them. They're the byproduct of you.
Absolutely.
And listen, thanks to all the new subscribers. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts, because again, we're just trying to get this message out there to you guys, and y'all accepting it, and we're putting out more stuff and doing more things. And again, we appreciate you. And tell your friends come check this out. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we holler at y'all later on.